Good morning, folks. This is Mike Haley-7 on this cloudy day, which is probably going to rain all over my clean bike. Oh well. That's what happens when you ride. Today, I would like to talk to you about the Peace Corps and about public service. When I was a little kid, I don't remember exactly when or how, but I heard about the Peace Corps. And I always thought it would be something really noble to do, really important to do, a great challenge. So from a very young age, I always knew that I wanted to be in the Peace Corps. And I also wanted to be in the Marines. My dad was a Marine. I wanted to be in the Marines. But with my asthma, they wouldn't touch me. I tried. So I went off to college. And then when I was graduating, or about to graduate, my senior year, I went and talked to the Peace Corps people. Then I went off and got a master's degree. I went and talked to the Peace Corps people again and became a teacher trainer, an English teacher trainer. I was supposed to go to Morocco because I speak French and I studied Arabic for a year. But they rejected me because of my asthma. They said I had uncontrollable asthma based on an ER visit that I had made. So I had to fight it, and it took a couple months to fight it, and it was too late to go with the Morocco group. They had already left. So then they said Sri Lanka, and then about 2 months later, 2 months before I was supposed to go in October of '95, they said, sorry, you can't go to Sri Lanka now because there's a civil war. I said, all right, well, what's my choice? They said, Kenya, high school for 2 years, or Fiji, high school 1 year, teaching teachers the second year. And I knew I didn't want to teach little kids, so Kenya was out because I didn't want to do that for 2 years. Fiji was just 1 year of that. Or I could wait another whole year before going to Morocco. And I said, nah, I'm not waiting because something could happen. So I chose Fiji. I left in October of '95. I believe it was the 26th is when I arrived in Fiji. And let's see. They put us through 3 months of language training. And cultural training. There were two groups of us, well, 3 groups of us. One group was Fijian, another group was Indian. That was my group. We were supposed to live with Indians. And a third group was going to go to a place called Tuvalu. Oh, there was even a fourth group. It was one guy. He's going to go to Rotuma. And each of those has distinct language and culture. So for the cultural training, we were all together for a little bit for the Fijian side of things. And then for the language part, we separated out. And I learned Hindi in an Indian village. I was living with a host family. It was quite a shock. They say it's the toughest job you'll ever love, and they're not kidding. I went from living in Lynn, Massachusetts, city, to living in a place with dirt roads only, chickens under your house, cows out in the yard that you used to plow the field. They call them bullocks. And if you want to have some chicken for dinner, you go outside, you grab a chicken, and you kill it. That's how they do it, which was kind of freaky. the Fijians had it even worse. I mean, the Fijian group, they had to go to a Fijian village, which was, you know, a bunch of tin shacks and very little or no electricity, eating boiled fish heads. I saw the way they lived, and it was pretty stark, not Western. And I thought, ooh, I'm glad I don't live with these people, being from Massachusetts and all. The Indians had houses and electricity and sofas. They called them settees, and refrigerators and stuff. It was quite luxurious by comparison. But even that was a little bit of a getting used to, because it was tin shacks, yes, but with electricity and linoleum on top of concrete floors, very basic beds. They made everything themselves pretty much. So I learned how to speak Hindi. Not, you know, totally, but enough. I learned about Indian and Fijian culture. They even had us teaching at a school for 3 weeks so that we'd get used to teaching in Fiji. We went off to visit our sites one weekend in the middle of training. Me and a couple of friends of ours. And I got to my village, and I'm walking down the dirt road, and I'm putting my hands together in a prayer shape, and I'm saying Ram Ram, Ram Ram to all these ladies hanging clothes. Come to find out later, they were Muslim, they weren't Hindus. And you don't say Ram Ram to Muslims, you say Assalamu Alaikum to Muslims. I didn't know. So when in doubt, I would just say Kaisehe, which means how are you? Or Mbula, which is the Fijian greeting. Everybody knows Mbula in Fiji. I went to this little beach near, if you look it up on the maps, you'll see it. It's, the spelling is C like Charlie, U, V like Victor, U. And it's pronounced Thuvu, not Kuvu. I lived in a place called Thuvu, not the village, but the Indian side of things. There's a bay called Thuvu Bay, and there's a resort island just onto the left of that if you're looking out from the beach. It's called the Hilton Fijian Resort. No, is it? No. Shangri-La, not Hilton. Shangri-La Fijian Resort. And they say it's in Singatoka, which looks like Sigatoka, but it's pronounced Singatoka. And it was one of the most beautiful beaches I had ever seen. I mean, I was astounded, because for the most part, there's nobody there. The people of Fiji, they were smarter than I was. They went swimming in the evenings. I was there in the middle of the daytime, and I got a sunburn, woo! But I had the whole beach to myself, a whole mile-long beach just to me, in tropical paradise. Anyway, my point of it was, I taught high school for a year, and it was really rough. And I'll tell you some of the ridiculousness later on. And then I taught teachers the second year, and they moved me to the capital, Suva. And I had a wonderful experience. I got to meet thousands of people, traveled to all the islands on little Buddy Holly airplanes, and drank kava, Yangona they call it, but kava, which is a very relaxing drink. You can get drunk on it even though it has no alcohol. And it was the toughest job I ever loved. And there was a guy in there, his name was Wolfgang, a German immigrant who naturalized U.S. citizen, big, tall German guy, and he lived in the deepest, darkest of bush areas in Fiji for the whole 2 years, never left it. And he was like 68 years old. So if you think, I'm too old, no, you're not. Try it out, think about it, if you want to. All right, folks, this is Mike Cayley 7. Now you know why I have the name Mike Cayley 7. Fiji. I'll talk to you later.